Since I started being interested in personal development, I have always heard that we have to set our goals. So I have always done it, but I realized that most often than not, I was not achieving them. It felt good when I was writing them, but at the end of the day, my life was barely moving. So after this cycle of setting goals and not achieving them continue happening, I in fact started to feel a little bit worthless because I wasn't able to achieve what I wanted. But after reading a little bit more about the topic, I realized that I was missing one step. I realized that for years, I was doing it wrong. I was missing one crucial step. And this is what we are going to be talking about in this video. I'm going to walk you through the entire method that I use for setting my goals. And at the end of the video, I'm going to reveal which is this last step that was preventing me from actually succeeding. Sounds like a plan? So let's get into it. So here in this image, we can see a very ancient building that is supported with all of these pillars. And if one of these pillars were to break, probably this ceiling will also break. So all these pillars are indispensable for the life of the ceiling. So our life is exactly the same. Our life is formed by pillars. It is said that we have 4 pillars: health, wealth, love, and happiness. But of course, we can have sub-pillars within them. But for the sake of this demonstration, let's just stick to these 4. Now let's focus on one of them. And this pillar is going to be our wealth. So what I want to do right now is to walk you through the full process that I will follow in order to set my goals for the wealth pillar, but we will do the same with the rest of the pillars. Okay, so now that we have set our attention in this particular pillar, the next step will be to come up with goals to support this pillar. And how are we going to set goals? For me, goals are not measurable and should be used in a plain language. And why am I doing this? Because like this is so much easier to actually come up with those goals. Okay, which is my goal in this pillar in particular, in the wealth pillar? So I want to have a thriving business. Okay, so this is exactly the example that I have here. I want to have a thriving business. I want to increase the impact that my business is making. I want to work less hours. Those are very easy to come up with. And they are an amazing first step and first approximation to what we are going to do later. So this will be our first step. But there is some bad news here. And as you may have seen, just with these goals, it will be impossible to know whether we have succeeded or we have not. Because if we go back, I want to have a thriving business. Okay, in which point I know that I have a thriving business so I can check this goal as achieved? It's impossible, right? So we need a next step, which is the outcomes. So now for each of the goals that we have come up with, we're going to create an outcome, and these are in fact measurables, and they are going to help us tell whether we have hit the goal or not. So I will center in one of the goals. Okay, I want to have a thriving business, and I will ask myself, what do I need to achieve so I can know that this goal have been fulfilled? So in this case, it will be the objective of making 60K per year in profit, reduce websites bounce rate to 50%. So for me, this is the definition of having a thriving business. It will be very easy for me to tell whether I have succeeded or not. But these goals are not very actionable, right? So what we need to do right now is from those outcomes, create tasks. So if we follow the trail for the goal, I want to have a thriving business, I have the outcome, make 60K per year in profit, and I have the first task, which is going to be to automate my finances overview in Notion so I can have a better understanding of the profit that I'm making. And like this, we will go from big picture and not very concrete to the daily task that we need to do in order to get to that goal. So, okay, now that we have this system in place, what do we need to do? Because right now we have our goals set, but as we said in the beginning of this video, this was not enough. And in fact, I was always having problems succeeding with my goals. So the next thing that we need to ensure our success is a system. And of course, if you've been following this channel for a long time, you know that I chose Notion to build my system, of course, because I believe that is the most flexible app right now on the market. And you can create whatever system you want just by using databases, linking them, and so on, that you cannot achieve in any other app that I have seen. So here we have what we just have mentioned. This will be in Notion 4 different databases, one for pillars, goals, outcomes, and another one for tasks. These will be the links in between databases, but for the sake of this video, don't worry too much about that. I just want to show you the theory behind it and what is the positive part of doing things this way. because maybe you can be thinking that this is a little bit too complex and that you just want a task manager. But wait a little bit, I'm going to show you something very easy but very powerful. Here I'm showing you my add new task page, which consists on a linked database to my task database. And as you can see here, I am forcing myself that every time that I add a new task, I need to relate it to one outcome. So what am I doing with this? Let's say that we want to go on the Route 66 and we are in Chicago, but our objective is to reach LA. Okay, so we have our goal set. But during the way, we may find different distractions. These are normally tasks that are not aligned to the goals that we set ourselves to do. So what are we doing with this simple action of making it a must to relate each task to the outcome? So what we are doing is that whenever a task doesn't help us move forward appear, by this simple step, we're going to remove them. And we are gonna keep going forward to whatever we said that we wanted to achieve. But okay, so far what I have just done is to put a little bit of infrastructure to the goal setting system that I just showed you. But this will still not be enough. Why? Because if you have already created some productivity system or even used one from another creator, you may have noticed that they tend to chaos. During the first weeks of using it, everything is always updated and everything is running smoothly. But maybe after 3 weeks, things will stop to be updated, some tasks we no longer care about them, even some goals, we are no longer pursuing them. So what we need to do is some maintenance work, and I'm achieving this through weekly and monthly reviews. Here the monthly reviews are going to take care of the goals and the outcomes, which is the bigger picture and the direction of where my life is going. And then the weekly reviews is going to serve me to manage the lower part of my system, which is the tasks. And now I'm going to walk you through real quick to what I do in each of these reviews. During the weekly reviews, I start the review by checking everything that I have done and everything that I have not done during the past week. In Notion, this is very easy to do with filters. And in order to create this as a template, what I do is having a weeks database, and within the weeks database, I'm creating this that you are seeing right now. So once I have done this retrospective of what I have done and what I have not done, I will input those two numbers, this 1 and 4, and then with some formulas, I'm going to calculate my effectiveness, but this a little bit over this video. So then the next step is going to be to schedule my week. So from the left side, I have the list of all the tasks that are pending, and I'm going to drag them to the right. As you can see, this is the same linked database, but just with different views. And once I have scheduled my entire week, in my 4-weekly review, there's a little bit more steps. So if you're interested, I'm going to link it over here and you can watch the entire review. So now, going to the monthly review, remember that what we are doing in the monthly review is to take care of the higher picture of our system, the goals and the outcomes. So what I want to do is similar idea. I'm going to first check how my system is going. Here I have different prompts, and in these toggles, the information that I need to see to fulfill each of these actions. So is there any outcome that has already been achieved? So here I have a filter, then if an outcome appears here, it means that probably I have already achieved it. The same with the goals. Update dates and timelines for goals and outcomes. Is there any outcome that I no longer care about? So as you can see, the objective of this is to do some maintenance work. So everything is always updated. And then the next step is going to go through the goal and outcome adding process. Here, if you remember, the pillars are the top of our system. So with some filters, formulas, and rollups, we will be able to see at a glance how our entire system is going. Here we have all the pillars. As you see, I'm using the sub-pillars instead of health, wealth, love, and happiness. And with this formula, I can tell whether those pillars are being supported or not. And if they are not, I will check what is going on. So for example, for business administration, I'm seeing that all my goals are on hold and all my outcomes are on hold. So if I want to take care of this pillar, I will continue the process and I can create a new goal or outcome for that pillar. Or if I choose to resume any of these goals, now that I have seen that the pillar is not being taken care of, I will go back to the previous step over here and I will resume those goals and outcomes. And the review will finish whenever I feel and I can see that all my pillars are taken care of. But if I purposely decide that I don't want to take care of one pillar in particular for a month, then that is okay too, but at least I know it and it is a conscious decision. If you want to see more in detail how I do also these monthly reviews, click in the video over here. So this in a nutshell, what I'm using right now to really achieve my goals. I've been using this system for the past year, and what I feel is that I am much more focused. I always know what is going on in my life, and I always can detect very fast whenever I'm going towards a direction that is not helping me, because those reviews are going to remind me. And again, we have the filter that every task needs to help an outcome move forward. So the main takeaway here will be that if we are being successful by setting our goals, plus we have a system to help us really achieve those goals, the result is going to be that we will finally arrive to our goal, which in our case was to arrive to Los Angeles. I hope that if you were like me, that you were setting goals all the time and never achieving them, after watching this video, you can feel a little bit more at ease, because maybe you have just realized that, okay, I just need to build a system. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine, of course, but I'm a super big believer that goal setting without a system to support it is practically useless, because we will just feel good whenever we are setting those goals, but then we are even going to forget. So I hope this video was helpful, because honestly, without this system right now, I think I would not be able to have this YouTube channel and my Notion business and be living here in Indonesia. I think nothing would have been possible. So I'm so thankful to this, and I hope that you can also find the same success by building your own system or by following mine. So that is it for this video, guys, and as always, hasta la próxima.